So, I really love I have the toys, I watched the movies over a dozen times, I'm reading the comic books, and I got a few signed from the artist at Comic-Con. That was fun, and I'm rewatching the original show, even watching the ones I've never seen before. I had no idea that Armada was this hilarious.
Is this about the girl on the monitor?
'Cause she's just a hologram. So what?
But why? I've always loved the franchise, and I have the toys, but my interest has doubled since last time I talked about the Auto Boys versus these Decepticrooks. What could possibly turn me into a full-fledged consumer of these Japan-imported folding pieces of plastic? Well, just like how it started, it reignited with a movie.
Now is the time for us to stand up, together, as one.
Me and the rest of humanity seem to have the same reaction when the first teaser of Transformers 1 released.
Hi there, I'm B127. I'm actually working on some nicknames. The one I'm floating right now is Badassatron, which is actually pronounced Badassatron.
It didn't look great. Not bad, but just fine. And with how Rise of the Beast turned out, I wasn't holding my breath to get anything close to a satisfying film narrative. You know, like Furiosa. Remember Furiosa? No, you don't, and I hate you for it. Which that film also had Chris Hemsworth, oh my god. Then the second trailer came out, and I was a little more optimistic. People don't talk about how this trailer really hit the right tone of dramatic, epic, and funny.
We could have built the future together.
I don't think so. Decepticons! Rise up!
So with a more hopeful outlook, I waited to see Transformers 1. A whole month after it was released.
Sorry, my bad.
But having seen the film, what do I think? Well, it's peak. I'm not here tooting my own horn, but Paramount listened to me, and I totally deserve credit for this film. I could gush about the art design, the animation, the characters, the voice acting, the drama, the comedy, how it all blends well together, but when it all comes down to it, it's that they treat the Transformers like characters. I love the Bay films as much as the next guy. Well, more like 3 out of 5 of them. Maybe even 3.5. I don't hate Age of Extinction, but The Last Knight can go rust. But my point is, while the action is great, the comedy is honestly a guilty pleasure, and it made my parents get a divorce to not pay for my toys. That joke's not staying in. But none of the characters besides the original 2007 cast have traits or personalities outside of their design. Sideswipe is a fan favorite, and the only reason I think is because he has wheel feet and knife hands. He's the real
Badassatron.
And it's these films that craft the general public's idea of the franchise and its characters. Megatron is a guy with a monster face. Optimus Prime is stoic until he isn't.
Optimus!
Bumblebee, despite being over 1 million years old, acts like a petulant teenager. It's sad to see these characters with decades of history with several different interpretations be reduced to hunks of metal in the most popular version of them. But one finally uses them like people. We know about Orion Pax's wants, desires, and morals before becoming Optimus Prime. And so making him Optimus Prime is less of a fanboy moment and more of a concluding of an arc. Megatron's descent is tragic and understandable from a character perspective. And when you give people that first, then you can do all the fan service stuff.
Happy to take the lead today, Captain. Feeling like I have enough power in me to drill down and touch Primus myself.
You don't have the touch or the power.
Hehe, I know what that means. Another aspect is the story. Holy shit, I'm shocked by the things they get away with in this movie. There's cursing, fairly violent moments, and true emotional depth that this film's first trailer didn't make me think it was capable of doing. It ain't Saw or 2001 or anything, but it's nice to see kids' animation still treat their target audience like the intelligent beings they are.
What? Help me!
Okay, I take that back. It's a film that is truly a perfect gateway or re-entry point to the franchise, and I know it because I've annoyed my friends with this crap and they haven't said they're sick of it yet. At least not to my face. 9 out of 10. Get me a sequel or I'll overthrow the government. Now with the mini review out of the way, I wanted to come back here, my black space void of moving stars, to talk about what the fresh start for the franchise can bring. And yeah, I know Rise of the Beast is getting a sequel in the form of a G.I. Joe crossover, and Chris Hemsworth is involved, even though he plays Optimus in this film. Yeah, we're just gonna pretend that doesn't exist. Lorenzo and co can do whatever they want with the live action franchise. It's dead to me. Just let the one crew cook, but allow me to offer some ingredients.
Guys? That's not good.
While the film is focused on Sentinel Prime as the main antagonist and Megatron's downfall, it sets up the Quintessons to not only be Sentinel Prime's bosses, but as a real threat to Cybertron as they already technically control the planet. Even Optimus's message is targeted toward the 5 Faces of Darkness themselves.
This message is a warning to all Quintessons. If you dare return to Cybertron, the Autobots will be waiting. I will be waiting.
But I'm sorry, the Quintessons are just lame. They're the least interesting explanation for how the Cybertronians came to be, and factor so little other than just a reason for Sentinel Prime's actions that I hope they aren't the focal point of conflict in Transformers 1, 2. You get it. Megs and Optimus are just the core relationship this film is built on, and I want that to be what's further explored in future installments, but I'm not opposed to the Quintessons being the endgame of the trilogy if done right, and can lead to Megatron redemption, or an unlikely allyship with the Autobots, which is always fun.
Pow! Jailbreaker! Wheeljack!
Transformers Spotlight was a comic series made during the IDW era of the franchise, which put focal point on a certain character in the franchise to flesh out their motivations, personality, or maybe what they were doing before the war.
Skyfire and I were both explorers from Cybertron.
That must have been shortly before our final falling out with the Autobots.
Yes, Skyfire and I were exploring what was an uncharted planet at that time.
What makes franchises like Transformers, X-Men, and Star Wars so great is that they are swamped with diverse characters with their own personal reasons for doing what they do, but fail to capture that in the 2-hour running time of these films. So my pitch is a TF Spotlight show that takes one character and shows what they're like so that if you pull a random character out of your ass, people interested in the universe can go, hey, it's Handjob.
No fucking way. That's not his fucking name. There's no way. His name is not fucking...
A few characters I'd like to see given this treatment are Blur, who had a pretty fun Spotlight issue in this comic series you can just adapt, Hot Rod, because boy does he need some love, Shockwave, it'd just be logical, and Starscream. It'd be fun to see who he was when he worked for the Cybertronian High Guard. Maybe he trusted Sentinel like Megatron did and felt betrayed. Also, I just love the bastard.
Hot Rod, look!
Devastated.
One of the most fun and exciting aspects of the franchise is the Combiners. A trope found in several mecha anime is the tiny robot that turns into the big robot, and TF is anything but missing out on that. You have the Constructicons that form Devastator, the Stunticons that turn into the unstable yet powerful Menasor, the Combaticons that combine into the Bruiser Bruticus. Even on the Autobot side you have the Aerobots who become Superion, and a bunch more. Now what is the story-driven, emotionally impactful reason I desire these cast of characters in the prestigious Transformers 1 world? Man, it'd be cool as hell. Imagine Devastator combining and tearing down Cybertron, or Combiner on Combiner combat with the two factions just trying not to be crushed. It'd be sick. Now on a story note, how could you make their cool into an actual beat? Maybe the Constructicons are the minor bots who finally got cogs but joined Megatron because they believed what he was saying. There's a lot of room to further explore the ramifications of learning your existence was never your own for years, and what that led you to become, to never be automatons again for someone else's gain. Little did they know, they've replaced one tyrant for another.
Decepticons! Rise up!
Those are the things I'd like to see from the One-averse. Feel free to tell me how I'm wrong and should give my face to an Optimus, or how you agree and we can bond in the universal greeting. I got nothing left to say but re-release the War for Cybertron games.